probably the audit that I'm most known for, or at least the one that everybody still talks about, is in Morro Bay. I did a First Amendment auditor. Excuse me, I did a First Amendment audit of
You
a
did a
small
First Amendment auditor. Which one?
auditor.
That's
Uh,
all the news. Everyone's going to be talking about it. Uh-oh.
well, I have done a First Amendment auditor, but I'm not going to say his name because I gotta protect.
Alrighty. Okay. Well.
I gotta protect the guilty. But
Okay.
protect the guilty and slander the innocent. But I
That's
did
what
a.
YouTube videos are for. That is what they love to hear on YouTube.
No, but there's a small town here on the Central Coast where I live, called Morro Bay, which is in San Luis Obispo County, and I did an audit of their. I mean, this is a town of like maybe 10,000 people, and so it was a really small police department. No one had ever audited that police department anymore, and that's another thing too. When I first started auditing, in my area, which is, the Central Coast, SLO County and Santa Barbara County, there were no cop watchers. There were no auditors. There was nobody in that area or in this area that did that sort of thing. There was no SLO observer. There was no 805 cop watch. There was no Katie Kidman. So when I would show up to these police departments, they seriously didn't know who I was or what I was doing. And that was the case in Morro Bay. I showed up and I was thrown to the ground. Had my head slammed in the concrete. I mean, literally by it was the chief of police and a senior officer. And I got like a big bruise on my forehead. And again, I mean, I wasn't hospitalized or anything, but I did go to what do they call it? Those urgent care place. Those like walk-in places where you can just go and they did some X-rays and.
What was the aftermath of that? What were the police reprimanded? Did you sue? Were you ticketed? What happened?
The aftermath was the chief. Even though it was shortly after that, the chief resigned. I have talked to somebody that actually works for the city that basically said that he was asked to leave as a result of that. I mean, I don't have any proof of that, but shortly after that incident, he left, and when that happened, he had only been the chief for like 5 or 6 months. He was a brand new chief, and then his name is Gregory Allen, and then he left, but the aftermath was there was other auditors from different places started showing up there, and there was a big what do they call it, a mass audit, one of the first big mass audits. This was before Leon Valley and before Almos Park, So there were some protests, and they got a lot of bad press over that. But it's again just like people keep saying like, oh, why don't you go back and audit Morro Bay? And I have been back there since, and they've learned. I mean, they know that people can record, but at that time, I mean, this was early 2018, so that was kind of a different time. That was still when a lot of people weren't too educated about it.